In presidential politics now, breaking news from Donald Trump on immigration and Muslims. Chief political correspondent Carl Cameron is here to fill us in with a new proposal from the leading contender. Good evening, Carl.
Hi, Bret. Well, Donald Trump's campaign issued a statement today saying that he is now calling for a, quote, total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the U.S. until our country's representatives figure out what's going on. That's the quote. Aides say it would apply to both immigrants and tourists alike. And it comes a day after the president's big speech to the nation, and as new polls show Ted Cruz surging. With the nation's lead-off caucuses exactly 8 weeks from today, Iowa has a new frontrunner in Ted Cruz. With 24% in the latest Monmouth University poll, Cruz has surged past Donald Trump at 19%, who now finds himself battling for second in a virtual tie with Marco Rubio, who's been gaining momentum at 17%. Ben Carson led this poll in October. He's plummeted 20 points to 13%. A new CNN poll shows Trump remaining in the 30s, Cruz climbing to second in the 20s, and Carson and Rubio the only others in double digits. In South Carolina, Cruz railed against the president's Oval Office address last night.
We don't need a president who goes on national television and lectures the American people like a schoolmarm, that condescends to the American people and says the problem we have is Islamophobia.
As soon as the speech aimed at reassuring Americans ended, Marco Rubio focused on public fears and frustrations.
Says they're avoiding stadiums and malls during the holiday season because they're scared. And people are scared not just because of these attacks, but because of a growing sense that we have a president that's completely overwhelmed by them.
What a sad speech that was last night by our president. It was no strategy, no leadership, vintage Obama, and politics as usual.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, like the president, refuses to identify the enemy as radical Islamist terrorism.
And there are radicals, people who believe all kinds of things in every religion in the world. I don't want to do that because, number one, it doesn't do justice to the vast numbers of Muslims in our own country and around the world who are peaceful people. Number two, it helps to create this clash of civilizations that is actually a recruiting tool.
Both parties are now pounding Mr. Trump for saying he'd prevent Muslims from entering the U.S. Bush called Trump unhinged. Chris Christie said Trump's position is, quote, ridiculous. John Kasich called it more of the outrageous divisiveness that characterizes Trump's every breath, unquote. And Trump today and before has also said he will also crack down on mosques in the U.S., profile Muslims, and investigate the families of suspected terrorists. Bret.
Carl, thank you.